Heidi ho there, my lovies. Welcome back to Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'm Shorty Vaughn, and I'm coming to you from the kitchen today. I've got my mom's cup. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee today out of my mom's cup because you know what that means. We're having a little Tales from the Step Stool. I'm going to tell you a story about my mom, Georgia Vaughn. Little Georgie Vaughn. And I love to drink out of her cup. Every day I would call her after work, and we would talk while I drove myself home. You know, hands-free, and she would talk to me on the phone, make sure that I got home safe, that I wasn't too tired and didn't drive into a ditch. I would go over to her house and visit her, and we would drink a couple pots of coffee, and she would always drink from this cup. I don't remember her ever drinking from another cup. Her and my father, they would sit at the dining room table every morning. They would drink pot after pot of coffee. They would read the newspaper, discuss the daily events, what have you. This coffee cup would have a big red lipstick stain from my mom's red lipstick. I don't wear lipstick because I hate it. It feels gross to me. Each to their own, though. So, yeah, I'm just here in the kitchen. Little Tales from the Step Stool. It's one of my favorites. This is a story about my mom that I really love. Now, my mother would tell you that she was not a feminist, that she worked hard, that she was an entrepreneur, that she wanted the same opportunities as men, but she still wanted to be treated like a lady. She still wanted men to hold the door open for her, let her go first, ladies first, that kind of thing. She wanted all of the benefits, and she wasn't willing to give that up, even in the sake of being equal to a man. But she would tell you that she wasn't a feminist, but she really was. She really was. She absolutely was. My parents were partners. They had a certain understanding. My father was a veteran. My mother worked. She worked at jobs. She started her own businesses. She built her own house. She had a ton of children. There are 9 of us. 5 older sisters, 2 younger sisters, a younger brother. I'm smack dab right in the middle. And, yeah, there are just a ton of us. My mother could do it all, and she had the energy of 20 people. No doubt about it. Anyhow, but my mother would tell you that she was not a feminist. It was only as an adult that I figured out she really was a feminist, and we'll just keep that to ourselves, because I didn't want to rile her up. Anyhow, so my mom one day came to me, and I was, almost like pre-teen kind of a thing. And she said, "Tanya, come with me. We're going to go to town, and I'm going to show you what it's like to be a woman." And I'm thinking that we're going to go down to the Skaggs Drugs and get one of those kits. There were kits. They were put out by Kotex. It had the feminine hygiene products in it, with the belt. Before feminine hygiene products had, the sticky stuff on the bottom and wings and stuff like that. Before they got all 21st century, just the belt. And you remember the belt? Anyhow, Kotex had this product, You're a Woman Now, and it had like a little booklet and all the things. And all my friends were getting them. So I thought, hot diggity, my mom and I are going to go to the Skaggs Drugs, and she's going to get me one of these kits. I was kind of excited, to become a woman. Anyhow, town for us was about 6.5 miles, some of it on a dirt road at that point. The main road, Cave Creek Road, had been paved, but we still had to go quite a ways on a dirt road to get there. And so we drove into town 6.5 miles. Now, when you got to Bell Road, there was Yellow Front, which was like a general store. You could get canned goods there. You could get tack there. Out back, you could get feed for your livestock. There was an A.J. Bayless, and that's where my dad did the grocery shopping. And then there was a Skaggs Drugs on the end, and that was our little strip mall where we went, where we did our primary shopping. That was going to town. In the middle of the parking lot, there was a Checker Auto, and then there was also a Valley National Bank. That's where my parents banked. Now, back then, there were only really 2 banks here in town. Valley National Bank was our local bank, and then there was also the Wells Fargo. And so we banked at the Valley National Bank. My parents had banked there for years, for almost 20 some years, since they came to Phoenix. Anyhow, so my mother, she pulls up in front of the bank, and I'm thinking, what does this have to do with becoming a woman? I think we're going to the wrong place. We're supposed to be going over to the Skag Strikes. We've got an appointment. So we get out of the station wagon and we walk in, and she goes up and tells one of the tellers that she has an appointment with the bank manager, Mr. Smith. So we take a seat, and Mr. Smith comes out in a few moments and shakes my mom's hand and looks at me and smiles and says something, and we go over and sit at his desk over in the corner. Well, my mom starts by telling him that she wants to have a $10,000 loan because there's a property that she wants to buy in our northern country, in our high pines, where it's a little bit cooler in the summertime. She wants a vacation home, and she pulls out some pay stubs and some bank records and, the property tax statement and assessment on the house and all this stuff, and all of her assets that she can put up for collateral for this $10,000 loan. And he's looking at all of it, and they start talking about loan options and the length of the loan and interest rates and all of that stuff. And my mom's smiling and everything's fine and dandy, and she's getting kind of excited because it looks like she's going to get this loan, that we're going to get this cabin up in the high country, and she's going to turn us loose out in the high pines and let us run wild, hot diggity. So they're talking and everything, and I don't know, he gives me a lollipop or something like that. Maybe I'm a little bit too old for a lolly, but I took it, put it in my pocket and saved it for later. Anyhow, we get to the end of this conversation. My mom says, well, Mr. Smith, what do you think? You think I can get $10,000 for my summer home? And he says, well, look, Georgie, I'd be glad to give you a loan for the $10,000. You certainly have been with the bank a long time. You've got income. You have assets and collateral, and there's no reason why we couldn't go ahead and give your family this $10,000 loan. My mom's just happy. She's just happy as she can be. He says, I'll draw up all of the loan documents, and you can bring Worley, that's my dad, in on Monday and sign them all, and we can get this ball rolling and, get you a check so you can go buy your property in the high country. My mom looks at him and takes a double take. What do I need to bring Worley in for? And he says, well, your husband will have to secure the loan. Now, this is not the 1920s, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. This is 70s, early 80s. Anyhow, why do I need to bring him in? Well, because he needs to secure the loan as your husband. Well, my name's on the checking account. My name's on the house. My name's on the car. I'm co-owner of all of the assets. I'm the one that works and brings home the majority of the money. I bring home the bacon. I fry it up. I have all the kids. I do all the things. What do I need him for? Well, because he's your husband and he needs to secure the loan. It'll take, both of your signatures for this. My mother was so mad. Oh, she was furious. You could see the steam just rolling up out of her head. She had this look. And when we were kids, this look, danger, Will Robinson, danger. It meant you were in deep doggy doo-doo. She could give you that look from across the room, and it made you just want to get as small and as tiny as possible. Maybe she wouldn't notice you anymore if you did it. Yeah, that meant you were going to get it good when she got home. She gave it to a bank manager. I had never seen her give it to a stranger before, somebody outside the family, because my mother was very cordial to everyone outside of the family. Inside the family too, but cordial to all strangers and treated everyone with a great deal of respect. She was mad. Oh, mad, it wasn't even the word. Anyhow, she could not understand why she could not get this loan all on her own. She wanted to get this loan on her own without my father, because my father was very ill. My mother knew that there would come a time in her life when my father would pass, and that everything would be her responsibility. She needed to know that she could get a loan all on her own, based on her own hard work, on her own merit, and to be told by this bank manager that she needed my father to secure the loan, that just infuriated her. She called that man every name in the book, things that I had never heard come out of her mouth before in my life. And she was all the tellers could hear, everyone in the bank could hear my mother telling off this bank manager, and he's just sitting there and his eyes are big and he does not know what to say. And my mother stops and gets herself together and he says, bring your husband in on Monday and you can secure the loan. And he looks at me and kind of gives me a look like, sorry. And my mother gets her purse and says a few more choice words to this man. And I got up and we walked out, and my mother got outside by the station wagon, and she's too angry to even get in the car. She lights up a cigarette and she's smoking. See, I brought you to town so you can see what it's like to be a woman. This is the challenge that you're going to have your whole life, is people are going to think that you have to have a man to get the business done, that you don't know your own mind. So I will tell you right now, Tanya, part of being a woman is knowing your own mind, being self-sufficient, being able to do things for yourself, and not always counting on a man, because you don't know. You don't know that are you going to get married? Are you not going to get married? Some women back then didn't choose to get married. How are they getting bank loans? I don't know. But know your own mind. Stand up for yourself. And when things go wrong, well, you're just going to have to figure out a workaround for it. And my mother figured how to work around for it. We went over to the Wells Fargo, and she opened her own bank account and wrote a check to start it up, and they were happy to give her loan for $10,000 without my father's signature, and there you go. So it has a happy ending, but my mother always wanted me to be self-sufficient. All of her daughters. That's why I kept my maiden name. And Andrew, we have always been a team. We just do things together. We make decisions together. It's an equal partnership. He had no problem with me keeping my maiden name. And so that is how I learned what it was like to become a woman. Did I eventually get the box of Kotex, the Welcome to Womanhood box? I surely did. Yeah, but my father bought it for me because he was the purchaser of great big feminine hygiene products, the sanitary products. Yeah, anytime they were on sale, he'd buy a whole cart full. People would look at him like, what do you need 25 boxes of Kotex for? And I got girls at home. I got a lot of them. Yeah, Kotex and toilet paper. Yeah, my dad would get toilet paper. And I'm pretty sure he would say that I'm pretty sure that they're eating it in there. You wouldn't believe how much toilet paper we go through. In my household, it's Andrew. Andrew is the toilet paper maniac. I swear. Yep. We won't talk about it anymore, but he's a toilet paper maniac. So yeah, my mom got her loan. She had her own bank account after then, in addition to the family bank account, where she kept a little bit of money in there, where she had her own loan and her own, her own status at the bank, where she was individualized. And yeah, my mom also voted. My mother voted in every election. It was important to her to recognize that it was right to vote for women, that we have only been able to vote at this point for 104 years. That's not very long. But yeah, only our vote has counted for 104 years. She didn't care who you voted for. That was none of her business because, religion, politics, finances, that kind of thing, all kind of personal. But yeah, it was important for her to get out and vote, for her to have her say, whether, independent of any man, and she could not be influenced. Yeah, she had her own moral compass, and she didn't need influencing by anyone. Anyhow, I'm drinking coffee out of my mom's cup. I'm just pleased as punch, baby. A little Tales from the Step Stool, how I learned what it was like to be a woman. And yeah, my mom, God bless her, she had a lot of life lessons, and you know, you learned by doing with her. A lot of life lessons. I'm lucky to have a lot of great women in my life. My mom, my mother-in-law, my Aunt Mabel, my Aunt Belva, my Aunt Pam. Yeah, a lot of great women in my life that influenced me. And yeah, aren't we lucky? Aren't we? Sisterhood. Yeah, absolutely. We're really lucky. So thanks for joining me for another Tales from the Step Stool. Yay, hooray. Now, I'd like to tell you about my mother-in-law, because she really was a feminist. She believed that she could do anything that a man could do, and she could do it better. Nothing stood in her way either. She worked on a fishing boat. Now, not like you're cast in for fish, or like Deadliest Catch kind of situation. And she worked on a fishing boat in the 1960s. Her story is very, very tragic, but has a happy ending. And I don't know if you want me to tell that, because, yeah, like I said, it's very, very tragic in the beginning, and then it has a happy ending at the end. So if you want to hear the story about my mother-in-law, let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for joining me for another Tales from the Step Stool. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my coffee. You have a great day. Bye now. Be good, be careful, look both ways. Bye now.